than in Morocco. I try to teach at an intermediate level, dynamically. And sometimes it depends on the students I have with me. Some of them seem to answer every question correctly. Some of them don't answer any correctly. That's good, because it demonstrates to you and illustrates many aspects of the language that probably you need to attend to as well. To speak a second language perfectly, well, perfectly is impossible, forget it. Don't aspire to perfection. It's not a realistic aspiration. I've been studying I've been studying Spanish. I've been working on Spanish all my life, and I still don't speak Spanish perfectly. I can communicate perfectly, but I can't speak perfectly. It's interesting. Speaking a language, including your own language, is not necessarily connected to your ability to communicate. In Spanish, when you speak your own language, or if you're watching from Valencia, in Valenciano, or in Catalan, or in Gallego, or in Basco, or in any language, but especially in your native language, you have eloquent days in which you seem to say everything very well, and you have less eloquent days in which it seems to you that, oye, no me explico bien hoy, es que no doy ni una hablando mi propio idioma. And so, it's clear that the knowledge of a language is not a free ticket to good communication. You know Spanish, se supone, perfectly. You knew Spanish practically perfectly when you were 5 years old. You could speak Spanish with more agility than I can speak Spanish now, after studying it for thousands of hours. But the fact that you know Spanish and can speak it fluently doesn't mean you're a good communicator. Are you capable of communicating with people and with groups in such a way that the people listen to you and act and react in line with what you want? Good communication skills are not easy to acquire, adquirir. En español, el verbo adquirir tiene una D al principio, adquirir. En inglés no tiene ninguna D. Empieza por C-A-C-Q, acquire, acquire, acquire. It's not easy to acquire good communication skills in your own language. So imagine how difficult it can be in a second language. But remember, you're never going to speak English perfectly, but you're perfectly capable of communicating perfectly if you master 3 elements. 3 elements. Element number 1, listening comprehension. You must gain an ability to understand well. Ahí sí admito perfeccionista. Si quieres ser perfeccionista, sélo con la concurrencia auditiva. Okay? I give you permission to be a perfectionist, but only with the ear, because the rest is impossible. Second essential element is confidence when speaking. Talk, speak, express yourself, and don't be afraid. Trata de evitar o de desterrar ese concepto del sentido ridículo que campa a sus anchas en este país. Okay, please. Try to find a way to eliminate the problem of miedo escénico, sentido ridículo, la vergüenza, etc., because it's not conducive to fluent speech. And it's un problema del coco, no es un problema del idioma. No. I have met many people que destrozan mi idioma, que lo hacen una carnicería auténtica, mi pobre idioma, dando patadas al diccionario uno tras otro, pero se expresan en inglés. Y yo prefiero eso a los que se quedan callados por miedo a hablar, por miedo al error. So, if I have to take the 2 extremes, which extreme? I prefer el cachapurrea, un inglés macarrónico, sin miedo. I prefer that extreme to the other person who suffers paralysis by analysis. Analizando todo hasta quedar paralítico. Parálisis por excesivo análisis. So I prefer that. That's the second element. First element is your ear. Second element, confidence when speaking. Confidence, it's a psychological element. Don't be afraid. Talk. And in order to gain that ability, Talk to the wall if necessary. Hello, wall. How are you today? You look nice today. You look better than yesterday. Inventando lo que sea o preparando un speech para la pared. Practice. And the third element is agility, agilidad. Siempre voy a la palabra ágil, agilidad. Agility with the basic grammar. Agilidad con los aspectos, los elementos que uno ve en el libro de principiantes, número 1, y en el libro número 2 para preintermedio. Esos dos libros contienen el 90% de lo que necesitas para hablar un inglés precioso. Yes. Do you understand me when I speak to you? Do you understand me when I try to explain to you what is necessary to speak English well? Many people, when they listen to me, they say, Richard, I love listening to you speak. And I say, why? Because I understand you perfectly. You're so eloquent. You speak with such impact. And I say, ¿y me entendéis a la perfección? I said, yes. You understand me perfectly, or you understand me perfectly because I'm using easy, basic English when I speak. And you say, ¿cómo es posible que a este le entiendo a la perfección? Y veo una película y no entiendo nada. Y sin embargo, este que le entiendo a la perfección también habla de forma elocuente e impactante. Moraleja, tanto en español como en inglés, si quieres ser elocuente e impactante, lo puedes hacer con los verbos y las construcciones del libro 1 y 2 para principiantes. You can do it. It's not difficult to be a good speaker with basic structures. You don't need to worry about esoteric, rebuscadas cosas. Don't. Basic structures is all you need. But you need to have la agilidad de un malabarista con esos estructura básica. Con un malabarista con solo 3 pelotas mantenidas en el aire. Y con eso, uno puede incluso impresionar con los juegos malabares que hace. Con solo 3 pelotas en el aire. Okay? So remember that. Keep it simple. It's not necessary to complicate your life with so many verbs and constructions. Make sure that you have agility. Eso es el elemento número 3. Listening comprehension. Confidence when speaking. Agility with the basic structure. And the basic structure is no more than 30 verbs and 3 verb tenses, present, past, and future. But learn it well, those. And then you can be very good and you can speak like me. I'm using vocabulary and verbs that you understand. You say, I still entiendo a la perfección. But at the same time, I am eloquent and I speak with impact. So you don't need to have an opulent grammar, una gramática, un léxico opulento para hablar de una forma eficaz e impactante. Remember that, in Spanish too. In every language. Okay, so I have 2 friends here with me who I think you know. You've met on previous 1 or 2 classes in the past. I have Nacho on my left and Julian on my right. 2 guys, okay, 2 good friends. Nacho, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Yeah, okay.
And you?
I'm tired. Ask me why I'm tired.
Are you tired?
Ask me why.
Why are you tired? Sorry.
I'm tired of giving sermons, sermoneando, siempre. Okay? Yeah. Aren't you? Do you think the people at home are tired of my sermons?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yes.
Are my sermons interesting or boring?
I think it's interesting.
Do you understand them?
Yes, I do.
Do you understand them perfectly?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, and are they eloquent?
Yes, you are.
In very simple English?
Yeah.
So it's possible to be eloquent with very simple English? All right, good.
Yes.
Okay, ask Julian if he's happy to be here.
Julian, are you happy to be here?
Yes, I am happy.
Okay, good. Now, ask Julian what his wife's name is. Volviendo a un tema de antaño.
Julian, what is the name of your wife?
Está bien dicho, pero casi siempre se dice, what's your wife's name?
What's your wife's name?
Perdona.
What's your wife's name?
Yo estoy haciendo 2 contracciones aquí. What's your wife's name? Repeat.
What's your wife's name?
Her name is Monica.
Okay, ask me what my wife's name is.
Sorry.
Ask me what my wife's name is.
What's your wife's name?
My wife?
No, sorry.
No me los
I'm
tropees
sorry.
al final.
What's your wife's name?
My wife's name is Fernanda. Ask me what my daughter's name is.
What's your daughter's name?
My daughter's name is Andrea. Ask me what my son's wife is. Well, my son's wife. I mean, my son is not married. Ask me what my son's name is.
What is the name of your son?
Escúchame. Escucha esto y aprende. Ask me what my daughter's name is.
What's your daughter's name?
Her name is Andrea. Ask me what my wife's name is.
What's your wife's name?
Good. My wife's name is Fernanda. Ask me what my uncle's name is.
What's your uncle's name?
His name is Jack. Ask me what my father's name was.
What was your father's name?
His name was Tom. Ask me what my mother's name was.
What was your mother's name? What was your mother's name?
Okay, you're nervous because you're on television. My mother's name was Mary Jo. María José? Mary Jo. Ask me what my sister's name is.
What's your sister's name? Names.
¿Y por qué tienes la tentación de añadir is? What's your sister's name? Repeat.
Easy for you. What's your sister's name?
My sister's name is Nancy. Okay, my sister's name is Nancy. And ask me what... Oh, I've lost all my things. ask me what my dog's name is.
What is your dog's name? Name.
My dog's name is Spot. Okay, I don't have a dog. But ask me what my brother's name is. What's your brother's?
What is your brother's name? What is your brother's name?
Escúchame.
Yes.
What's? Eso significa what is. ¿De acuerdo?
Yes.
What's your brother's? Con apóstrofe S porque es genitivo sajón. El nombre de tu hermano. What's your brother's name? Repeat.
What's your brother's name?
Okay, I don't have a brother. I only have a sister. Ask me what my cousin's name is.
What's your cousin's name? Cousin's name. Name.
My cousin's name is Karen. Okay, my cousin's name is Karen. Ask me where she lives.
Where she lives?
Where does she live?
Where does she live?
Live.
Where
we have a lot of work, Julian.
Where does she live?
Live. She lives in Texas. Ask me what city she lives in.
What city she lives in?
Falta el verbo auxiliar otra vez.
Where city do she live?
What city?
What city
does she live?
Does she live in?
She lives in Houston. Ask me if she smokes.
Is she smoke?
Si están fumando ahora, no tengo ni idea. Ask me if she smokes.
Smokes.
Does she
smoke? Smoke.
Repeat the question.
Does
she smoke?
Does she smoke?
Does.
Esto.
Does. No, that's. Does she smoke? Repeat.
Does she smoke?
No, she doesn't. Ask me if she lives in a big house.
Does she live in a small house?
A small house? I don't think so. I think she lives in a big house. Ask me if she travels a lot in her job.
Does she
travel
in his job?
In his job or in her job?
In her job.
No, she doesn't. Ask me if she lives alone.
Does she live alone?
Live.
Does she live alone?
No te oigo bien.
Does she live alone?
Alone, no. Alone.
Alone.
No, she doesn't. She lives with her husband. Ask me if Nacho lives alone. Does
Nacho live alone?
Alone.
Alone.
Yo siento tan solo. I feel so alone. Does she live alone? Does Nacho live alone? I don't know. Do you live alone?
Yes, I live alone.
You do? Okay. Ask me if my sister lives alone.
Does your sister live alone?
Live
alone?
No, she doesn't. She lives with her husband. Ask me if my uncle lives alone.
Does your uncle live alone?
Alone.
Alone.
Yes, he does. Okay. Ask me if he lives in Oklahoma.
And does he live in Oklahoma?
No, he doesn't. Ask me if he lives in Kansas.
Does he live in Kansas?
No, he doesn't. Ask me where he lives.
Where he lives?
¿Y por qué has abandonado el does?
Oh. Oh,
Where does he?
Where does he live?
Sin la S al final.
He live.
Where does he live?
Where does he live?
He lives in Texas. Ask me if he lives in Dallas.
Does
does.
he live in Dallas?
No, he doesn't. Houston.
Does he live in?
Does.
Does he live in Houston?
No, he doesn't. Ask me what city he lives in. What?
What does city?
What city?
What city does he live?
Live.
He live.
In.
Live
Ponen al
in.
final.
Live in.
Good, repeat.
City, what city does he live in?
No, it's dos. It's does.
Does.
What city does he live in? He lives in San Antonio. All right. And ask me how old he is, Nacho.
How old is he?
He's 84 years old. Ask me if he's in good health. Ask me if he is, the verb is to be. Ask me if he is in good health.
Is he in good health?
In good ¿qué?
Health.
Eso. Repeat.
Is he in good health?
In good health? Not the best in the world, no. Lately, no. He's not in good health. Ask me if I'm worried about my uncle.
Are you worried about your uncle?
A little bit. Ask me if I like my uncle. Ask me if I like my uncle.
Do you like your uncle?
Very much. Ask me if he is married.
Is he married?
Not now. Ask me if he is divorced.
Is he divorced?
No, he's not. Ask me if he is a widow. A widower, perdona.
Is he a widower?
Widower.
Widower?
Widow is mujer. Yeah. Widower is viudo. Yes, he is. Ask me if he lives in the city.
Does he live in the city?
City?
In
Yes.
the city.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't live in the city. Ask me how far he lives from San Antonio.
How far does he live from San Antonio?
He lives about 20 kilometers from San Antonio. Ask me if he lives on a farm.
Does he live on a farm?
No, he doesn't. Ask me if he lives on a ranch.
Does he live on a ranch?
Yes, he does. Ask me how many hectares he has.
How many actors does he?
Actores? No, hectáreas.
Hectares.
Escucha. Ask me how many hectares. Hectares.
How many hectares
does he
has?
Does he qué?
Does he have?
Good. He has 40 hectares. 40 hectares. Okay. Ask me if he has any animals on the land.
Does he have any animals on the
land?
On the land?
Yes, he does. Ask me how many animals.
How many animals does he have?
Good. Fíjate en el does. Es tercera persona singular en las preguntas. Okay. En el presente. He has, I think, he has 4 cows, 2 horses, and 5 dogs. Okay. All right. And ask me if he lives there permanently.
And does he lives there permanently?
Okay, lives.
Does he live there permanently?
Yes, he does. Okay. And ask me if he has any friends near his ranch.
Does he any friend?
El verbo lo has.
Does he has? Does he have any friends
near
to the ranch? Or
ranch. Near the ranch.
Near the ranch.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And ask me if he comes to Spain very often.
Does he comes to Spain? Does he come to Spain very often?
Very often?
Very often.
Very es con V, no?
Very often.
No, he doesn't. Ask me how often he comes to Spain.
How often does he come to Spain?
Never. Ask me if he has ever come to Europe.
Does he ever?
Ahora estoy remontando en su pasado hasta presente. Ask me if he has.
Have he ever been?
Tercera persona. Ask me if he has ever come to Europe.
Has he ever come?
A Europa?
To Europe.
Punto. Repeat. Has he?
Has he ever come to Europe?
Never. Ask me why.
why has he never come? No?
Prefiero
Never
que
came.
niegues sobre el verbo auxiliar. Why hasn't he
Why hasn't he come?
ever come?
Why hasn't he ever come to Europe?
Okay. I don't know. He's never had the occasion. All right. Ask me if he speaks Spanish.
Does he speak Spanish?
Yes, he speaks a little Spanish. Ask me why.
Why does he speak Spanish?
Okay. Because many years ago, he had a lot of business with Mexico. Ask me what kind of business he had with Mexico.
What kind of business he had?
Did he have?
Did he had?
Did he qué?
Did he had? Did he have
Okay.
with Mexico?
Irrigation business, riego. Okay. Agrícola. Irrigation business. Okay. Ask me if he has an irrigation business.
Does he have irrigation?
Irrigation.
Irrigation, yeah.
Business?
Irrigation business.
Now he doesn't. Okay. Ask me how many years he had an irrigation business.
How many years
Did?
did he have an irrigation business?
Irrigation.
Irrigation business.
He had an irrigation business for about 40 years. Ask me if it was a successful business.
Did it was a successful business?
Did it was or was it?
Was it was it a successful business?
Yes, it was. Escucha la pronunciación. Successful
Successful
business.
business.
All right, yes, it was. Okay, now, but returning to Julián, okay, we need to
Good.
finish the story. Okay, te dejo en paz un poquito. Eh?
Thank you.
Now, does Monica smoke, your wife? Does she smoke?
No, she isn't.
Does she smoke?
No, she's not.
Escucha. Does she smoke or doesn't? She does or she doesn't?
She doesn't.
Okay, now, does Monica live with you?
Yes,
She does.
She does.
Good. Does Monica have blonde hair?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't. She
Doesn't.
doesn't.
Uy.
Yes.
¿Sabes, Julián? En tu caso tenemos que remontar a cero y construir. ¿Sabes? Remontar a cero y construir. Okay. Hay cosas básicas. Okay, pero super básicas. Does she work in the same company as you?
Yes, she does.
She does. Does she have two eyes?
Yes, she have.
Yes, she does. ¿Por qué has cambiado?
To
Does she have?
to
Escucha.
tener.
Does she have? Do you have? Do you? Does he? Do I? Have. Have es un verbo normal, como do you touch? Do you teach? Do you drink? Does Nacho drink? Now, does Monica have one nose?
Yes, she does.
Yes, she does. Does she have two ears?
Yes, she does.
Does she have perfect English?
She.
Yeah.
Yes, she does.
Really? Okay. Does she speak well?
Yes, she speaks well.
She speaks.
She speaks well.
All right, pues conviértela en tu profe.
Yes.
Okay. Empezando hoy. All right, but we're coming back. Al pobre Julián le voy a dar mucha caña hoy para que se mentalice, porque y Nacho también, no puede, Nacho no puede tirar la primera piedra, ¿A que no? No, he can't throw the first stone. But I'll be back, and I'll be back with Julián and with Nacho in just a few minutes, so please, don't go away. No te alejes demasiado, porque empezamos de nuevo en 5 minutos, ¿ok? Bye-bye.
Pronunciation.
As soon as.
As soon as. I'll call them as soon as I have time.
I'll call them as soon as I have time.
We'll leave as soon as it gets dark.
We'll leave as soon as it gets dark.
As soon as you've finished, you can go.
As soon as you've finished, you can go.
As soon as.
As soon as.
Pronunciation.
Welcome back. The 1 Minute English class. I have two arms, 1 and 2. This arm I am bending. In fact, I can bend both arms. I can bend both arms at the same time. I bend my arms at this joint, articulación, which is called my elbow. Okay, and I can bend my arm this way. I can't bend my arm backwards. Okay, most people can't do that. Most people bend their arm this way. I bend my fingers. I can bend. Now, some things I can't bend. This pen, I can bend it a little. But if I bend it too much, it could break. Okay? Also, there's a river. El recodo del río is the bend. The river bend. The bend in the river. To bend. Now, don't confuse to bend, que es doblar cosas duras o cosas corporales, with to fold. Also, you say doblar. Doblar papel is to fold. Doblar tela, to fold. If I wash this shirt and I iron it, then I fold it and put it into the drawer. I fold it. You fold paper. You bend harder objects. Superman can bend iron bars. I can't. I can bend my arms, but I can't bend iron bars. And I'm going to bend your will to make you learn English, I hope. See you in a few minutes. See you another day.
The Vaughan Challenge.
Which one is correct?
You haven't got all day. Come on, come on. The correct answer is
B. Where are you waiting for me?
Well, right now we're in a sweet old monastery. It's got cloisters and cool retablos and a little church and everything. It's actually a hotel, so we've got really nice rooms. We've all got our own rooms, which I wasn't expecting. That's really cool. So you've got your privacy, but at the same time, there's general meeting areas where you find everybody, and you can just go around, talk to whoever you want. There's a plethora of different people. There's all sorts of people. There's obviously Spaniards, but Irish and American, British, Australian, Kiwis, all sorts of people. And you actually develop pretty cool relationships.
the Vaughan Challenge.
What's the missing word?
You don't know, do you? Chop chop. The correct answer is
B. We were responsible for the children.
Hello and welcome back. Welcome to another 1 Minute English class. To borrow and to lend. It's interesting, in Spanish you say prestar dinero o tomar dinero prestado. Cuando tú prestas, you lend. Cuando pides o tomas prestado, you borrow. It's interesting, in English, we use the verb to borrow a lot. And you don't have a verb in Spanish for to borrow. You say, oye, ¿me dejas el lápiz un momento? In English we say, can I borrow your pencil for a minute? Can I borrow one of your shirts? Oh, ¿me dejas una camisa tuya para hoy? Can I borrow? When you go to the bank, you can do many different types of transactions. One transaction is to borrow money. The bank lends you money. The bank gives you a loan. In essence, lending you money, and you are borrowing money from the bank. The bank is lending money to you. If I need a pencil, I can borrow a pencil from you, and you lend the pencil to me. If I borrow money, I have a debt. Money I owe to another person or entity. If I borrow money. If I lend money, the other person or entity has a debt towards me. They owe me money. There's a lot of interesting vocabulary with lending and borrowing. Debts and credits. We'll come back another day and continue with this subject.
Pronunciation. Can we?
Can we?
Can we trust you?
Can we trust you?
Can we make a difference?
Can we make a difference?
Can we let them go?
Can we let them go?
Can we?
Can we?
Pronunciation.
Hello and welcome to a new program. Welcome back. It's good to see you again. I'm glad to see that you're watching this program more often, because you and me together, we're going to create a symbiosis that will transcend so many different objectives. And of course, you will improve your English mientras tanto. In the meantime, you will be improving your English simply by watching. Simply by watching. Y puedo decir lo mismo quitando el by. Simply watching. Simplemente viendo este programa, sin prestar demasiada atención, incluso. Dos formas, simply watching or simply by watching. El by, ¿por qué lo insertamos? Pues es casi como decir mediante el visionado. Simply by watching this program, your English will improve. It will penetrate through your pores, los poros del cuerpo, and you will assimilate the language without realizing it. But that requires that you spend a lot of time in front of the TV, watching me and watching other colleagues of mine here on Aprende Inglés TV. This is the only 24-hour-a-day television channel in the world designed to improve you. This is an educational channel. This channel is not for entertainment, although we try to entertain at the same time as we educate. This channel is giving you something very valuable. This channel is giving you something that is worth a lot. It's not only entertainment and relaxation, but it's education of the mind and giving you tools, herramientas, to help you in the future. So I don't want any criticisms, okay? Nada de críticas, because this is free, you're not paying. And you have an expression in Spanish, a caballo regalado no se le mira el diente. And in English, we have the same expression. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. So if you don't like this show, just switch to another channel. That's fine, but don't criticize it because it's free. The only cost is your time, okay? Which is valuable, I imagine. But knowing English is even more valuable, in my opinion, than your time, okay? And if you spend your time improving your English, it is time well spent. Okay, now I have two lovely ladies whom I think you know. Whom, con M al final, whom I think you know, because they've been here before. I think this is their second time with me. Mercedes, am I right? How are you?
Yeah, you're right. I'm fine, thank you.
And Susana, hello.
Hello.
By the way, bring me the camera. Just before the start of the program, they had a fight. Yeah. And they said, I want to sit there. And she said, I want to sit there. This is my good side. This is my bad side. And I said, don't move. You'll stay there. But after the break, in about 22 or 23 minutes, okay, we'll switch, okay? We'll give Mercedes the chance to sit on my left, and we'll give Susana the opportunity or the chance to sit on my right, so we can avoid fights. That's what you call a Solomonic decision. Okay? Do you agree, Susana?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Yeah. Did you complain before the program?
Yes, I did.
You did? Okay. Now, ask me if there was a civil war in Italy last century.
Was there a civil war in Italy last century?
Well, last century was the 20th century, of course. Not formally, there wasn't, but really there was. Because the late years of Mussolini, the last 6, 7 years of Mussolini, especially the ones that coincided with the Second World War, the divisions in Italy were so great, and there was so much violence and so many problems that some people consider it almost the equivalent of a civil war. But no, there wasn't formally a civil war in Italy last century. Ask you if there was a civil war the century before.
Was there a civil war the century before?
Yes and no. Italy didn't exist as a country a century before until about 1865 or 1870. After Garibaldi and his troops, they united it under Victor Emmanuel to create what is Italy, okay? And that is often considered a civil war, but it was a war of unification, all right? So in my opinion, personally, there wasn't a civil war in the 19th century in Italy. Ask me if there was a civil war in the United States in the 19th century.
Was there a civil war in the United States in the 19th century?
Yes, there was. Ask me how long it lasted.
How long did it last?
Good. Repeat.
How long did it last?
Did he or did it? Did it.
Did it. How long did it last?
Es que la forma en que has dicho did he suena a did he. Él, un hombre. How long did it last? For example, ¿cuánto tiempo duró Pepe en ese trabajo? ¿Cuánto tiempo duró él? How long did he last? How long did he last? Did he? Do a did he dum did he do? How long did he last? Now, tratándose de una guerra civil, how long did it? Como hacen las ranas. Did it? Did it? How long did it last? How long did it last?
How long did it last? Did it?
Did it? All right, how long did it last? It lasted 4.5 years. Tell Mercedes, ask me when it started.
Ask him when it started.
When it
started.
Tengo que trabajarte el it.
When did it start?
It started in 1861. Tell her to ask me when it ended.
Ask him when it ended.
When did it end?
When did he or did it?
Did it. When did it end?
All right, when did it end? Cuando terminó la guerra civil americana? It ended in 1865. Tell her to ask me how many young men died in that conflict.
Ask him how many young men died in that conflict.
How many young men?
Young men?
Young men.
Young
men.
Young
Men died in that war.
Okay, 600,000. A lot. Yeah, 600,000. All right, and ask me what the causes of the war were.
What were the causes of the war?
Many, but basically economic. Basically, no. The basic reason for the American Civil War was a decision whether central government or dispersed in a more federal system. And so it was based on who made the decisions concerning economic activity. Washington or the capital of every state, okay? And the slave question was an important question, but it was secondary. Okay, ask me if there was a civil war in Spain in the 19th century.
Was there a civil war in Spain in the 19th century?
Well, there were several civil wars. If you consider the guerras carlistas as civil wars, there were several, quite a few. And also the Napoleonic period could be considered a bit like a civil war because there were so many. It was quite a conflictive century, okay, the 19th century in Spain. Okay, ask me if the Virgin Mary is a central figure in the Hindu religion.
Is the Virgin Mary a central figure in the Hindu religion?
No, she's not. She is not a figure at all. Que yo sepa?
No, that I know of. As far as I know.
As far as I know, she is not a central figure in the Hindu religion, although I have heard rumors that the Virgin Mary died on her way to India. Yeah, have you heard that?
No, haven't.
The most recent, well, rumors, they're not rumors, certain hypotheses, theories, okay, say that between the age of 12 and 29, Jesus of Nazareth was in Kashmir, in the north of India, and that he went there with his mother when he was 12 years old, and she died along the way, okay? And that he spent his years and consolidated his philosophy of life and religion in India. Ask me if I believe that story.
Do you believe that story?
No, I don't. But it could be true. Nobody knows. It could be true. All right? Ask Mercedes if she has heard that story.
Have you heard that story?
No, I haven't.
Okay. But ask me if the Virgin Mary is a central figure in the Christian religion.
Is the Virgin Mary a central figure in the Christian religion?
Of course she is, yes. She's more important in Catholic, But ask me if the Virgin Mary is an important figure in the Protestant religions too.
Is the Virgin Mary an important figure in the Protestant religion too?
Yes, she is. Ask me if the Protestants believe in the Immaculate Conception.
Do the Protestants believe in the Immaculate Conception?
According to the Protestant doctrine, yes, of course. Ask me if the Protestants believe in the Confession.
Do Protestants believe in confession?
Yes, they do. But not through a priest. It's direct with God. Most Protestant denominations believe it's between you and God, okay? Ask you if the Protestants believe in the resurrection.
Do the Protestants believe in the resurrection?
Yes, they do. They believe in the resurrection. Okay. Ask me if the Protestants believe in eternal life.
Do the Protestants believe in
Protestants
believe in the eternal...
In eternal?
In eternal life.
Yes, they do. It's all the same. But really, basically, the beliefs are the same between the different religions. All right. Ask me what language the people speak in South Africa.
What language do people in South Africa speak?
All right. They speak English and Afrikaans, and maybe Zulu. I don't know, Zulu language. I don't know. But basically English and Afrikaans. And ask me what Afrikaans is.
What's an African?
No, what is Afrikaans?
What is Afrikaans? Okay.
It's a language that combines English, Dutch, and German, basically. Okay, I think. I'm not an expert. But I think Dutch and German predominate in that language. Okay? Ask me what people speak Afrikaans.
What people speak Afrikaans?
A lot of people in South Africa, especially in the north, in Transvaal, in the north of South Africa, who were originally Dutch. Okay? And ask me if the Dutch had problems with the English in South Africa.
Did the Dutch have problems with the English? Did the Dutch have problems with the English in South Africa?
Yes, they did. Ask me if there was a war.
Was there a war?
Yes, there was. Ask me when the war took place.
When did the war take place? When did the war take place?
I think it took place at the end of the 19th century. Ask me how long it lasted.
How long did it last?
I think it lasted 2 years, but I'm not sure. Ask me what famous person was involved in that war.
What famous person was involved in that war?
Konuve.
Involved in that war.
Masuve.
Involved.
In that war. Involved.
Involved.
Mira, los dientes las
Involved.
seño. Involved.
Involved.
What famous person? Winston Churchill. Yes. Ask me if he was famous before that war.
Was he famous before that war?
No, he wasn't. Ask me if he became famous during that war.
Did he become famous?
¿Cómo?
Did he become famous after that war?
Well, during and after, yes, he became famous. Ask me why.
Why did he become famous? Why did he become famous?
All right. He became famous because he escaped from a Boer prison in a very interesting way. All right, and he became famous because of it. Ask me how old he was at that time.
How old was he at that time?
Around 20 years old. He was very young, or 22, 23. Okay, ask me what, do you remember you don't remember that war?
No.
Have you ever heard of La Guerra de los Boers?
No.
The Boers War?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it was a strong war between the Dutch settlers, colonizadores, and the English settlers in South Africa. And ask me who won the war?
Who won the war?
The Dutch. The English, sorry, the English. The English won the war. Okay, ask me if I will make $1 million before the end of this month.
Will you make?
$1 million?
Okay. Will you make $1 million before the end of this month?
No, I won't. My God. Not before the end of the year either, okay? Ask me if I have ever made $1 million in 1 year.
Have you ever made $1 million in one day?
In 1 day? No, never, never, never.
In 1 day?
No.
1 year.
In 1 year.
Too late. Ask me if I've ever made $1 million in 1 year.
Have you ever made $1 million in 1 year?
No, never. Not yet. Not yet. No, who knows? Maybe someday. All right. And ask me if I've ever made $100,000 in 1 year.
Have you ever made $100,000 in 1 year?
Well, now, with the dollar so cheap compared to the euros, yes. But if the dollar were at a correct parity, no. I've never made 100,000 euros in 1 year. But now, ask me how much 100,000 euros is in dollars.
How much is 100,000 Dollars.
Euros.
And euros.
First, euros and dollars.
Yes. $100,000 in euros. How much is it?
$100,000 in euros is about 66,000 euros. Ask me if the parity is completely out of line.
Is the parity completely out
Completely.
completely out of line?
Yes, it is. Ask me if everything is cheap in the United States now.
Is everything cheap in the United States now?
If you have euros in your pocket, yes. Everything is cheap. Ask Susanna if she's ever been to the States.
Have you ever been to the States?
No, I haven't.
Ask her if she would like to go someday.
Would you like to go someday?
Yes, I would.
Ask her what part of the States she would like to visit first.
Which part of the United States?
Prefiero what?
What part of the United States would you like to go?
Well, maybe the Rocky Mountains.
The Rocky Mountains? Ask her if she has ever seen the Alps.
Have you ever seen the Alps?
No, I haven't.
Ask her if she has seen the Pyrenees.
Have you seen the Pyrenees?
Yes, I have.
Ask her if she's seen the mountains in Asturias and Cantabria.
Have you seen the mountains in Asturias and Cantabria?
Yes, I have.
Well, then you don't need to go to the Rockies. The Rockies are very beautiful.
Much, much higher.
No, not
No?
well, higher than the Picos de Europa? Yes. How high are the Picos de Europa? What's the altitude?
It's
know?
about 2,000,
Oh, I think it's more.
2,600 maybe.
Maybe close to 3,000, I
It
think.
rings a bell.
Yeah. Okay, the Rockies are higher, but yes and no, because the Rockies start at 5,000 feet. Okay, let's put it into meters. Denver, Colorado is called the Mile High City. The Mile High City. Because it's exactly, the altitude of Denver is 5,280 feet, and that's exactly 1 mile. All right, now Denver is the beginning of the Rockies, and it's abrupt. Okay? Well, when you go to Denver, it's flat, like this table, except that it's like this. But you don't notice, but it's continually, from the Mississippi River, 3,000 kilometers before, it's slowly going up, 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 up. And when you reach Denver, 3,000 kilometers away, or 2,500 kilometers away, it's at 1 mile, which is 1,760 yards, which means about 1,600 meters. So, the Rocky Mountains are about 4,000 meters. 4,000 meters, yeah, 4,400 meters perhaps, but it starts at 1,600. So they're high, but they begin from a high place. Now the Picos de Europa, you go to the other side, it's the Bay of Biscay. ¿Cómo se llama el mar Cantábrico?
El Mar Cantábrico?
In English.
The Cantabrian Sea?
No. La Bahía de Vizcaya. The Bay, Bay of Biscay. The Bay of Biscay, yes. Now, the Bay of Biscay, of course, is sea level. And if you're in Asturias and you go from sea level, you go up to the top of those picos, it's tremendous, the change. So, although the mountains in Asturias are not as high as the Rockies, the abrupt change could be the same, or maybe even more. And it's very impressive. If you go to the States, I would recommend other areas, although the Rockies are very beautiful. I would recommend you go to the deserts of Arizona, Nevada, Utah, New Mexico. It's very, very beautiful. Also the Northeast, Boston, New York, in that area. New England is very good. Ask her if she's planning to go to the States someday.
Are you planning to go to the States someday?
Yes, I am.
All right, ask her if she's planning to go this year.
Are you going to? Are you planning to go this year?
Well, not this year, next
Ask
year.
her if she would go if I invited her.
Would you go if he invited you?
Of course I would.
Yeah, and ask her if she would like to cross the country in a rented car.
Would you like to cross the country in a rented car?
Yes, I would.
All right, tell her to ask me how long it would take us to cross the United States by car.
Ask him how long would it take you to cross? How long it would take you to cross the country by car?
Yeah.
How long would it take us to cross the country by car?
It would take us probably, well, it depends on how often we want to stop along the way. But it would take us about 10 days.
Only 10 days?
Only?
Well, I've heard longer.
Well, it depends on how much you stop. If you want to stop and visit every little museum in every little village, okay? No. Now, if you want to stop and see Niagara Falls, if you want to spend quality time spending an entire day, it can take 1 month to cross the United States.
That's what I heard.
Ask me how long it takes to drive nonstop across the United States.
How long does it take to cross non-stop across the United States?
No me ha gustado to cross across.
Oh.
How long does it take to cross the U.S. non-stop? Repeat.
How long does it take to cross the U.S. non-stop?
If it takes 5 days. 5 days to go from New York to Los Angeles, for example, because people do it often. Ask me why people often cross the United States by car.
Why people?
Why do
people often cross the United States by car?
Because they are paid to do it. Yes. For example, if I live, okay, in the United States there's a lot of mobility. People move. And it's quite common. I mean, probably every day, somebody who lives in San Francisco, Sacramento, Los Angeles, or San Diego, or Portland, Oregon, or Seattle, Washington, on the Pacific coast, probably at least every day, 10 people are moving, only 10, of course, but it's every day to a city on the East Coast, Miami, Atlanta, which is near the coast, or Washington, Philadelphia, New York, Boston, etc.
But because they are transferred?
Yeah, they're transferred by their job or something. And so you have 2 cars. Your family has 2 cars. Okay, good. Now, what they usually do is, of course, all the furniture goes in a moving van. Camión de mudanzas. We say a moving van, como si fuera furgoneta. Moving van. And they fly to the new house they have rented or bought in Boston, New York, etc. And they pay somebody to drive the 2 cars across. And this happens often. Every day, at least one person is crossing the United States in order to transport the car itself. Do you understand?
Yes.
It's a long way. But for example, imagine, Susana, that you need to move from Madrid to Moscow. Okay? And that you organize the moving of all your furniture into a nice flat in the center of Moscow. And then you personally, you physically will go. All right? You have a car. And you fly. And you tell me, you pay me 500 euros and I'll drive your car to Moscow. Because you don't want to drive so far. How long does it take to drive from Madrid to Moscow?
I don't know.
Probably takes about 4 days. No.
4 days?
To drive from Madrid to Moscow in 4 days.
Well, for you, maybe. Not for me.
Ask me how far I can drive on the first day.
How far can you drive on the first day?
Well, on the first day, I can drive from Madrid to Perpignan.
Paris.
To Perpignan, for example. No, Paris is a bit too far.
Yeah.
Paris would be 14 or 15 hours. I would drive from here to Perpignan. Ask me where I would go the following day.
Where would you go the following day?
I would go from Perpignan probably to Berlin. Okay? Or maybe that's too far.
It's too far.
To Munich. To Munich. Ask me where I would go on the 3rd day.
Where would you go to on the third day?
I would go from Munich or Berlin to Vilnius.
Where is Vilnius?
Vilnius? Where's Vilnius?
Armenia.
You don't know? Armenia? No, Armenia, that's very far south. That's the Caucasus. Ask me where Vilnius is.
What is Vilnius?
Vilnius.
Vilnius.
It's the capital of Lithuania. Okay. And then the final day from Vilnius to Moscow. I would probably stop in Warsaw, Varsovia. But Vilnius is another 3 hours. I'm probably apurando llega.
Wow.
And then but I think it could be done in 4 days. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Would you like, ask her if she would like to make that drive.
Mercedes, would you like to make that drive?
Good, repeat please.
Would you like to make that drive?
In 4 days? No.
Okay, good. Would you like,
Would you?
Would you?
Would you?
Yeah, would you? Would you like to make that? Ask me if I would like to try to do that.
Would you like to try to do that?
Of course I would. I'd love to. All right. Ask me how much time we have left.
How much time do we have left?
We have 1 minute, and then you can switch places, okay? Now, ask me if Napoleon knew how to play rugby.
Did Napoleon know how to play rugby?
I imagine he didn't. Actually, rugby existed as a sport in Napoleonic times.
Did rugby exist as a sport in Napoleonic times?
No, it didn't.
Napoleon times.
Napoleonic
times.
Tiempos, en la época napoleónica. No, it didn't. So I imagine he never had the opportunity to play rugby. Besides, he didn't have time. Strange man, Napoleon. Strange man.
Very, very strange.
Yeah. Very interesting person to study. Strange. But we'll talk about, maybe the next hour, we'll talk about Napoleon. We'll be back in just a few minutes, okay? So don't go away. Don't go too far away. Be back as soon as possible, because in 5 minutes, estamos al pie del cañón de nuevo con el inglés a tope, okay? English elevated to the 10th power in the next half hour, okay?
The Vaughan Challenge.
Which one is correct?
Quickly! You're running out of time. The correct answer is...
A. You've already done it.
Hello again. Welcome back. The 1 Minute English class. To tell you the truth, I would rather not be here because they caught me and put me in front of the camera. I was planning to have a coffee, but now I have to teach an English class, my God. To have a coffee, not to take a coffee. To take a coffee sería llevar un café de un sitio a otro. When we eat or drink, we always use the verb to have. To have lunch, to have breakfast, to have dinner, to have a drink, to have a Coke, to have a beer, to have a whiskey, to have. What would you like to have? Hey, let's have a drink. Now, to take means llevar de un sitio a otro, but to take for consuming is only for medicine, medication. To take an aspirin, to take medicine, to take cough syrup. So, remember, to take is only ingerir. The rest of the time, please, we only use have. Please don't say, I would like to take a beer, because it doesn't make sense. Uno diría, ¿a dónde lo quieres llevar? Where do you want to take the beer? Okay, no, we want to have a beer, to have a whiskey, to have a glass of wine, to have a drink, to have breakfast, to have lunch, to have dinner, okay, to have something to eat. I need to have something to eat. I'm hungry. So I think I'll leave now and go and have my coffee, okay? See.
The Vaughan Challenge.
What's the missing word?
You haven't got all day. Hurry up. The correct answer is...
C. I want to focus on the exam.
The Vaughan Challenge.
What's the missing word?
You haven't got all day. Hurry up. The correct answer is...
B. He has many objectives.
Pronunciation. Must have.
Must have.
You must have it.
You must have it.
It must have snowed.
It must have snowed.
We must have a try.
We must have a try.
Must have.
Must have.
Pronunciation.
The Vaughan Challenge.
Which one is correct?
You don't know, do you? Chop chop. The correct answer is
B. Let's meet outside the cinema.
the Vaughan Challenge.
What's the missing word?
Quickly. You're running out of time. The correct answer is
C. I'm responsible for my children.
the Vaughan Challenge.
Choose the right question. The speech lasted 30 minutes.
Quickly. Come on. The correct answer is
How long did the speech last?
the Vaughan Challenge.
Which one is correct?
You don't know, do you? Chop chop. The correct answer is
B. He recommended that I take a vacation.
the Vaughan Challenge.
What's the missing word?
Do you know the right answer? Chop chop. The correct answer is
B. She thought about the problem.
the Vaughan Challenge.
Which one is correct?
Oh, you've really improved your English. This is tricky.
The correct answer is
A. Help me to blow these balloons up.
Pronunciation. Houses.
Houses.
How's his father?
How's his father?
How's his new job going?
How's his new job going?
How's his new car?
How's his new car?
Houses.
Houses.
Pronunciation. Pronunciation. Time-I.
Time-I.
It's time I went home.
It's time I went home.
Do you remember the time I got lost?
Do you remember the time I got lost?
The first time I flew, I got really dizzy.
The first time I flew, I got really dizzy.
Time-I.
Time-I.
Pronunciation.
Hello again and welcome to the 1 Minute English class. And remember, a little secret. These classes often last a little more than 1 minute. Today, the same. The same as, same as, the same as, the same as, the same as. ¿Continúo? ¿Sí? The same as, the same as, the same as. ¿Por qué insisto tanto? ¿Por qué me pongo tan pesado? Because you people, you Spanish people, continuously say the same than or the same that. I'm tired of hearing it. The same as. 1/10 is the same as 10%. 1/2 is the same as 50%. 2/3 is the same as 66.66%. 3/4 or 3/4 is the same as 75%. 1/3 is the same as 33.3%. My sweater is the same color as yours. Your sweater is the same color as mine. I'm sorry to be so insistent, but it's necessary. All right? English isn't the same as French. They are different languages. This grammar in English isn't the same as the grammar in French. The grammar in English is different from the grammar in French, or different than. Different from, different than, incluso different to. Okay? But never as. As is always the same as, the same as, the same as. Okay? The effort I made to learn Spanish, I hope, is the same as the effort you are making now to learn my language.
Pronunciation. Some of the cars are blue.
Some of the cars are blue.
Some of the time was wasted.
Some of the time was wasted.
Some of the snakes are poisonous.
Some of the snakes are poisonous.
Some of the pronunciation.
The Vaughan Challenge.
Which one is correct?
You haven't got all day. Come on, come on. The correct answer is
B. Does he work in finance?
the Vaughan Challenge.
Which one is correct?
You haven't got all day. Hurry up. The correct answer is
B. I have been living in my flat since 2001.
the Vaughan Challenge.
Choose the right question. 3 people have been rescued so far.
Quickly. Come on, come on. The correct answer is
How many people have been rescued so far?
the Vaughan Challenge.
Choose the right question. I got married in 1977.
Very good, very good. Hurry up.
The correct answer is
C. When did you get married?
the Vaughan Challenge.
Choose the right question. He bought me a glass of water.
Quickly. Come on. The correct answer is
What did he bring you?
the Vaughan Challenge.
What's the missing word?
Quickly. Hurry up. The correct answer is
C. Einstein is a famous scientist.
Hello and welcome back. Okay. Should your car be inspected from time to time? That's a question. Should your car? Should. Yes, should is recomendable. Should is debería o debe. Should. La L es muda. Should. All right. Should your car be inspected from time to time? Of course it should. Okay. In fact, in this country, every year, no, excuse me, it depends on how old your car is. It depends on how old your car is, whether el que sea inspeccionada o que se someta a inspección, ITV as you say here, once a year or once every 2 years. Should your car be inspected every year? Probably it should, okay? Because many people don't take good care of their cars. Many people don't check the pressure in the air pressure in the tires. Many people don't check the oil level. Many people don't check other aspects of their car, which are critical. So yes, cars should be inspected regularly, or cars should be inspected on a regular basis. Okay, pero aquí es should. Should is... Tiene varios significados, todos muy parecidos, menos uno. Should es cuando estás diciendo debes, pero no es un imperativo moral, no es imperativo, es una recomendación, una sugerencia. No deberías fumar tanto, eh? You shouldn't smoke so much. You should study more. No estoy diciendo que tienes forzosamente o por narices que estudiar más. Eso es you have to, you must. Come on. Pepe, Paco, Manolo, Inés, Rafael, Rafa, come on. You must study, come on, you really must make a stronger effort. Aquí estoy instando-os o instándote a realmente arrimar el hombro y trabajar y remar fuerte, okay? En ese caso diría must. Now, should is simply a recommendation. Should. Come on. I think you should study a little more, don't you? Don't you think you should? Don't you think you should study a little bit more? All right, so should is a recommendation or a suggestion. Should is also simply a moral question of behavior. Una cuestión moral del comportamiento. Okay, que no es imperativo necesariamente, pero es conveniente. Eh? You should be polite to other people. You should treat other people as you would want those people to treat you. You should give money, or you should be helpful, ser servicial, whenever possible. Things you should do. You shouldn't be rude to other people. Rude, escrito rude, is impolite, maleducado. All right, you shouldn't be rude to other people. You shouldn't be proud, soberbio. No, no, you should be more humble, okay? You should study English more, in my opinion, eh? You should. But not too much, because if you study too much, you'll learn English, and then you won't need me anymore, okay? And I need perpetual students. It's always good to have estudiantes perpetuos. It's always good to have perpetual students who come to me, pay money for classes, and they never learn. And so I have a perpetual or a inexhaustible, inagotable, fuente de ingresos. I have an inexhaustible source of income. Yes, I have an inexhaustible source of income from my students because they come, they like my classes. Wow, oh, Richard, me encantan tus clases, me encanta venir aquí a estudiar, me encanta el inglés, because they enjoy my classes, but then they go home and they don't study. So they continue coming back every year, paying money. I'm not a cynic, okay? But to a certain degree, to a certain extent, this is true, okay? Y si quiero ser cínico, que no lo soy, podría decir esas cosas que conviene. That you shouldn't study, please, because I need a perpetual source of income. But you should study more. You should. You should. Entonces, should es... debería, se traduce como debería, también como debe, cuando es una cuestión de actitud moral conveniente en la vida. You should, all right? Now, must, ojo, bueno, should, voy a terminar con should. Should también usamos mucho cuando en castellano decís con toda seguridad, con toda probabilidad. Con toda seguridad hay unos 1,000 habitantes en ese pueblo, con toda probabilidad. There should be about... I think there should be about 1,000 people there. Okay, so we use should in that way as well. All right, he should be here any minute. Tiene que estar, está al llegar, está al llegar. No, esto no es debería estar. Está seguro de llegar. Está, con toda probabilidad, está a punto de llegar. He should be here at any minute. He should be here right now. I'm surprised he's not here. So, and that's another case. Now, must. Ojo. Must is also has two different meanings. Must has a meaning which is un imperativo moral. I must. Okay. A diferencia de have to. Must es una obligación internamente impuesta. Okay. Te lo impones a ti mismo. I must study more. Tengo que encontrar manera, debo, por todos los medios, encontrar una forma de estudiar inglés más. I must learn this language. Te estás imponiendo una obligación por decisión tuya, propia. All right? Ahora, if a person comes into your house with a rifle and he says, okay, I'm going to kill you if you don't learn English. And I'm going to stay here, even if I have to stay here for 2 years. And if you don't learn English within 2 years, I'm going to kill you. Okay? In this case, probably you wouldn't say, I must learn English. When you call your friend and say, hey, Pepe, listen, I can't go with you on that trip to Australia, the 2-month vacation, because I have to learn English. Aquí have to. Las obligaciones externamente impuestas por circunstancias o porque alguien te obliga es alguien o alguna ley. You have to. All right? You have to. We have to. Now, you can use I have to learn English, but really nobody is well, circumstances, yes. English is the lingua franca of this century, and it's going to be for the entire century. So really, you can say circumstances you to learn. You have to drive at one point. Okay? It's the law. So it's externally imposed, excuse me. All right,